Echoes of Antiquity, a Dynastic Journey. Welcome to our exploration today. China's history, woven over thousands of years, is a story of immense scale and impact, shaped by powerful dynasties, thinkers, artists, wars, and cultural revolutions. Our journey begins with the mythical Xia Dynasty, its foundations laid by figures who tamed nature. From these beginnings we progress, dynasty by dynasty, witnessing empires, philosophies, and wonders, until the fall of the Qing dynasty in modern China. We will explore rulers, philosophies, achievements in art, science, and engineering, and the struggles and triumphs that shaped China. Our adventure into this storied past begins now. The Xia whispers from the dawn of time. Our story commences in an era veiled in legend, where myth and historical certainty blur. This is the time of the Xia Dynasty, traditionally revered as the first hereditary dynasty to rule the lands that would become China. Its origins are intertwined with Yu the Great, a leader who tamed the great floods that once ravaged the fertile river plains. This act laid the groundwork for settled civilization. Under the Xia, early forms of agriculture were established, allowing communities to secure a stable food supply. The discovery and utilization of bronze led to new tools and more effective weapons. The principle of hereditary monarchy took root, setting a precedent that would endure for millennia. For a long time, the Xia dynasty was known primarily through texts written centuries after its supposed decline. However, archaeological discoveries in places like Erlitou have unearthed evidence of an early, sophisticated Bronze Age culture. These sites reveal palaces, bronze foundries, and intricate jade artifacts, pointing to a complex society flourishing at a time consistent with the traditional Xia period. These findings offer glimpses of a powerful entity. The question is whether this culture can be definitively identified as the Xia dynasty of legend. Historians and archaeologists continue to piece together the puzzle, searching for the conclusive link. Whether fully historical or a potent founding myth, the Xia dynasty represents the symbolic dawn of Chinese civilization, a foundational story of order emerging from chaos, and the first chapter in the epic tale of dynastic rule. The Shang voices from Bronze and Bone. Emerging from the shadows of the Xia, we encounter the Shang dynasty, a period that marks a pivotal transition from legend to verifiable history. The most remarkable of these are the oracle bones, fragments of turtle shell and animal bone, inscribed with the earliest known form of Chinese writing. These were used for divination, providing us with intimate glimpses into their concerns and beliefs. The Shang society was profoundly religious, with the king serving as the chief shaman. Elaborate rituals, often involving sacrifices, were performed to appease deities and seek their guidance. This deep-seated reverence for ancestral spirits would become a cornerstone of Chinese culture. The Shang were master metallurgists, their skill in bronze casting reaching an astonishing level of sophistication. Magnificent bronze vessels were created for ritual purposes, symbols of power and wealth. Their armies, equipped with bronze weapons and horse-drawn chariots, were formidable forces. The development of a complex writing system laid the foundation for the Chinese script used to this day. The Shang's sophisticated bronze technology, political and religious systems, and emphasis on ancestor worship contributed significantly to the cultural DNA of China. The Shang stand as a crucial bridge, a dynasty that not only consolidated power but also began to codify the elements that would define Chinese civilization for centuries. The Zhou Mandate of Heaven and 100 Schools of Thought. Following the Shang, the Zhou dynasty emerged, bringing with it the concept of the Mandate of Heaven. This doctrine posited that a ruler's right to govern was granted by a divine power, heaven. Just rule would ensure the continuation of this mandate, while tyranny could lead to its withdrawal. This concept shaped the dynastic cycle for millennia. The early period of Zhou rule saw the establishment of a feudal system. The king granted land to loyal relatives and nobles who governed their own territories. This system contained the seeds of its own eventual fragmentation. As generations passed, the ties of loyalty weakened, setting the stage for future conflict. The Zhou were forced to move their capital eastward, marking the beginning of the Eastern Zhou period. This era witnessed an extraordinary flourishing of intellectual and cultural activity, known as the 100 Schools of Thought. Thinkers like Confucius and Laozi emerged, advocating for virtue and harmony. Legalism and the military strategies of Sun Tzu also arose during this time. The later centuries of the Eastern Zhou are known as the Warring States period. The great feudal states vied for supremacy, leading to a prolonged and brutal struggle for unification. The Zhou king became a mere figurehead as China descended into conflict. This crucible of warfare would eventually lead to the rise of a new centralized empire. The Qin, forging an empire in iron and will. Out of the Warring States period, the state of Qin rose to power. Through ruthless efficiency and military might, Qin conquered its rivals, unifying China in 221 BCE. The king of Qin, Ying, proclaimed himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. His reign laid the foundations for an imperial system that would last for over 2 millennia. The first emperor dismantled the old feudal structures, establishing a centralized bureaucracy. The empire was divided into commanderies and counties governed by officials appointed by the emperor. Qin Shi Huang initiated sweeping standardization measures, unifying weights, measures, currency, and the written script. The scale of the Qin construction projects was staggering, including the precursor to the Great Wall of China. The most astonishing project was his mausoleum, guarded by the Terracotta Army. However, the Qin dynasty's drive for unification came at a tremendous human cost. Harsh legalist laws, suppression of dissent, and forced labor engendered widespread resentment. Shortly after Qin Shi Huang's death, the empire rapidly crumbled. Widespread rebellions erupted and the Qin dynasty collapsed after a mere 15 years. The Han, a Golden Age and the Silk Road's genesis. Following the collapse of the Qin, the Han dynasty emerged, founded by Liu Bang. The Han dynasty would reign for over 4 centuries, establishing a golden age in Chinese history. The Han rulers adopted a more moderate approach to governance, embracing Confucianism as the state ideology. The civil service examination system was introduced, allowing individuals to gain positions in government based on merit. This period saw significant economic prosperity and technological advancement. Agriculture flourished, supported by innovations such as iron plows and irrigation systems. The invention of paper revolutionized record-keeping and communication. Advances were made in metallurgy, with the development of steel, and in science, with the invention of the seismograph. The Han dynasty is renowned for opening up the Silk Road, facilitating trade and cultural exchange. Despite its achievements, the Han dynasty eventually faced internal decay and external pressures. Court intrigues, economic hardship, and nomadic threats eroded the dynasty's authority. By the early 3rd century CE, the Han Empire had fractured, leading to a long period of division and conflict. The Three Kingdoms, an era of heroes and legends. With the collapse of the Han dynasty, China splintered into the Three Kingdoms. For nearly 60 years, the land was divided among Wei, Shu Han, and Wu. This era, though brief, has captured the imagination of generations. It was a time of incessant warfare, complex alliances, and daring military stratagems. Legendary battles, such as the Battle of Red Cliffs, became iconic moments. Despite the conflict, this period saw significant developments in military technology and tactics. The personalities of this era are larger than life, immortalized in the literary work Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Figures like Liu Bei, Cao Tao, and Zhuge Liang have become archetypes. Ultimately, the state of Wei was usurped by the Sima family, who established the Jin Dynasty. The Jin Dynasty eventually conquered Shu Han and Wu, reunifying China. However, the divisions and conflicts of this era left deep scars. The reunification was short-lived, foreshadowing further centuries of fragmentation and strife. Jin and the Southern and Northern Dynasties, Fragmentation and Cultural Fusion. The reunification achieved by the Western Jin Dynasty proved to be fragile. Internal weaknesses and external threats plagued the new regime. The collapse of the Western Jin led to the Northern and Southern Dynasties period. China was split into two distinct halves, each following its own trajectory. In the south, Han Chinese dynasties preserved cultural traditions. This period saw a flourishing of literature, poetry, calligraphy, and painting. The southern economy continued to develop, relatively insulated from northern turmoil. In the north, various nomadic groups established short-lived kingdoms. The Northern Wei unified northern China and promoted Sinicization. Buddhism spread widely throughout China, merging with Taoist and Confucian beliefs. This period of division saw significant cultural and religious fusion. The Sui reunification and grand ambitions. The Sui dynasty, founded by Yang Jian, reunified China in 589 CE. The Sui emperors implemented significant administrative reforms. The legal code was revised, and efforts were made to standardize coinage and measures. Land distribution systems were implemented to promote agricultural production. The most enduring achievement of the Sui dynasty was the construction of the Grand Canal. This colossal engineering feat linked the Yellow River with the Yangtze River. The canal facilitated the transport of grain and boosted internal trade. However, the Sui's ambition also contributed to their downfall. Massive construction projects and military campaigns placed a burden on the populace. Widespread rebellions led to the collapse of the Sui dynasty in 618 CE. The Sui served as a crucial but short-lived unifier, paving the way for the Tang dynasty. The Tang, a Cosmopolitan Golden Age. The Tang dynasty, founded by Li Yuan, ushered in a golden age. The Tang era was characterized by territorial expansion, cultural achievements, and economic prosperity. The Tang capital, Chang'an, became a cosmopolitan hub. This era witnessed an extraordinary blossoming of arts and culture. Poetry, painting, sculpture, and music flourished. Buddhism thrived under Tang patronage, while Confucianism dominated state ideology. The Tang dynasty eventually faced decline. The Anlushan rebellion weakened the central government. Court intrigues, economic problems, and peasant uprisings further eroded imperial authority. By the early 10th century, the Tang dynasty collapsed, ushering in another period of division. The Song innovation amidst vulnerability. The Song dynasty was a period of extraordinary economic growth and technological innovation. Gunpowder, movable type printing, and the magnetic compass were developed. These innovations fueled a vibrant economy and expanded trade. Neo-Confucianism became the dominant ideology. Landscape painting and literature flourished. Despite its brilliance, the Song faced persistent military challenges. The Jurchens conquered northern China, forcing the court to flee south. The Southern Song continued to thrive culturally and economically. Ultimately, the Song Empire was conquered by the Mongols in the late 13th century. The Yuan, the Mongol Ascendancy. The Yuan dynasty, founded by Kublai Khan, incorporated China into the Mongol Empire. Kublai Khan adopted Chinese customs and established his capital at Dadu. The Yuan rulers implemented new administrative systems. Despite tensions, the Yuan presided over a period of stability and cross-cultural exchange. The Mongol Empire's vast reach facilitated trade and travel. The Yuan court was cosmopolitan and tolerant of various religions. However, Mongol rule faced challenges and eventual decline. Resentment among the Han Chinese population simmered. Natural disasters and internal power struggles weakened the dynasty. Widespread rebellions led to the collapse of the Yuan dynasty. Zhu Yuanzhang established the Ming dynasty. The Ming Revival and Maritime Grandeur. The Ming dynasty, founded by Zhu Yuanzhang, sought to restore traditional Chinese institutions. The early Ming emperors focused on consolidating power and rebuilding infrastructure. The Hongwu emperor implemented sweeping reforms. The civil service examination system was re-established. Agriculture was promoted, and reforestation projects were undertaken. The Ming launched grand naval expeditions under Zheng He. These voyages displayed China's power and wealth. The Ming dynasty is renowned for its construction projects, including the Forbidden City. The Great Wall was extensively rebuilt and fortified. The Ming era saw a flourishing of literature and porcelain production. Internal problems and external threats led to the dynasty's decline. The Qing, the last empire, and the dawn of a new era. The Qing dynasty, founded by the Manchus, presided over a period of vast territorial expansion. The Qing emperors adopted Chinese governance and culture. The High Qing period saw stability and prosperity. However, the Qing faced mounting internal and external pressures. Population growth strained resources, leading to social unrest. Corruption within the bureaucracy became widespread. The Opium Wars exposed China's military weakness. The latter half of the 19th century was a period of profound crisis. Devastating internal conflicts and unequal treaties eroded China's sovereignty. Growing anti-Manchu sentiment fueled revolutionary movements. The Xinhai Revolution led to the abdication of the last emperor. The end of imperial rule in China heralded the birth of the Republic of China. And so, our journey through China's dynastic history draws to a close. From the legendary rule of Yu the Great to the fall of the Qing, we have witnessed the rise and fall of empires. Each dynasty has left an indelible mark on China's past. Each era brought remarkable innovation, from bronze casting to gunpowder and printing. Profound philosophies like Confucianism and Taoism shaped governance and society. There were times of immense tragedy and periods of unparalleled glory. All these elements have collectively forged the complex and vibrant culture of China today. If this exploration has captivated your imagination, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable voyage. Until we meet again, farewell.